This is the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe XRT. Is it the most versatile trim level? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I borrowed this model from my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai in Shreveport, Louisiana, so we can give you some details to help answer the question as to whether or not you think it is the most versatile trim level. And you'll find a few things here that will definitely be helpful in a multitude of situations, including the XRT trim level specific 18-inch wheels. You will also find additional ground clearance over other trim levels of the Santa Fe. And I know a lot of people will talk about how it looks like a Land Rover Defender or a Ford Flex. I don't know what else they're saying. I have actually parked a Defender and a Ford Flex next to this new generation Santa Fe. And if you want to dig those videos up on my YouTube channel, you can find those and tell everybody what you think if you really believe they still look the same as one another after you've seen a side-by-side comparison. So let's see what this particular model has to offer. There is a link down in the description of the video in case you want to come into Mike Morgan Hyundai and maybe buy this model. Now that flickering effect that you see right there, I like to tell everyone about this because I know most people don't in these car review videos. That is not really happening. That has to do with my camera. So, LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. Try not to blind you too much there. You'll find that H right there as part of the LED daytime running light design and the turn signal indicators. Some people like it, some people don't. Tell me what your thoughts are. You'll also find the light that runs all the way across here. That's the advantage in a way of having that flickering effect because you can see it a lot easier than you would otherwise. And you'll find the active air curtains right here that allow air to flow through this area on both sides of the front end to help improve aerodynamics. And you also have active shutters right here, one on each side. Those are going to open when the engine is running for a variety of different reasons. You don't have to be in motion for that to happen. It happens depending on what the engine needs as far as cooling and all that kind of stuff goes. Now this model is going to come all-wheel drive. Let's talk a little bit about tire and wheel size first. So we're going to have 245 on our width, a 60 series sidewall, and the XRT trim specific 18-inch wheels. So if you want these wheels, you're either going to have to snag them off of an XRT and put them on your Santa Fe, or you're going to have to go with the XRT trim level. Now, one of the big differences here is that you will find an additional 1.3 inches of ground clearance compared to any other trim level. Typically, we're looking at 7 inches. In this case, it's 8.3. So if you're looking for that extra ground clearance for whatever situation you need that for, it's here. The side view mirrors are going to have the gloss black mirror caps. They are manually folding. And let's see if I can get that to fold back. You're going to have the turn signal indicators built in. They're power adjustable and they are also heated. And let's take a look at the remote. The main thing a lot of people seem to want to know about is remote start. It's right there. It is a proximity key. It has all of the features you would expect where that is concerned. We finish things off here. I know people are saying some like it, some don't, that H design. Well, we have it back here just the same way as we have in the front. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. Now, you will have a single exhaust outlet back here. Probably not that big of a deal, but I'm surprised sometimes people will say, whether they mean it or not, that they're not going to buy a vehicle because it doesn't have something such as 2 exhaust outlets in the back, one on each side. I actually have seen comments like that, believe it or not. The Santa Fe logo and the Hyundai logo right there. And here is your XRT logo. You will find the privacy glass here in the rear, your rear roof spoiler, and nice large roof rails up there. So that's going to help out. You can get the crossbars to help out. That way, when the kids, when Aunt Edna, whoever is being unruly, you can stick them up there, no more problems. And under the hood, you'll actually find a reasonable amount of horsepower and torque. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Under the hood is the most powerful engine option available, the 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 277 horsepower and 311 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed wet dual-clutch transmission. And let's talk about MPGs. I know that's a hot topic for any vehicle these days. We're looking at 19 city, 26 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. The gas tank size is going to be 17.7 gallons. And a bonus, for those of you who don't like capless fuel fill, you have a gas cap instead of capless fuel fill. Okay, real quick, I know we're kind of diverting from me holding the camera, but sometimes we have to do things like this. But I wanted to show you what you have right here. Now, this isn't going to be on all trim levels. You can get this on the XRT, and I believe they're limited, and I know on the calligraphy. But you're saying to yourself, what is that? Well, I showed you the area where you can put Aunt Edna and the unruly kids up here. Well, how do you gain access to that? Well, here's the easiest way to do that. This area right now doesn't do anything, but that's actually a grab handle. So let me show you something. Now you can use any key or anything that will fit in there, a screwdriver, a pocket knife, I don't know, whatever. And here's the area where you're going to put that. You'll see right here, there's a lock symbol, or really an unlock symbol right there, and I'm going to insert the key right there. I'm going to turn it like that, and then I'm going to have Carrie come back around here and show you that now I can actually reach in there. And here's what's going to happen. If I need to gain access to this area up here, look at that. As long as I'm good and agile and can hop up on the tire, it's a lot easier than having to reach up here first. You can reach down here. There is one on the driver's side here and also on the passenger side. And 14.6 up to a potential of 79.6 cubic feet of cargo capacity. Obviously, you can lower all of the different seating areas here to help with that. The thing I do like here is that you have the Velcro piece right here, so you can put that strap right there. That way you don't have to reach too far up to get that, depending on how short your arms may be. Some people may have a little more trouble with that than others. Just no big deal, that's just life sometimes. But you know what? I'm trying to make life as easy for you as possible. And here's something else that makes life easy for you. The button's right here to go ahead and lower the middle row seats. And so there's how everything looks maximized. And you're going to have the 12-volt power outlet back here. That's going to be helpful. And underneath the floor, a little bit of storage. And over here on the right-hand side, there are the tools to change a tire. And that is because you have a spare tire. It's located underneath the rear of the vehicle. And to answer a common question I'm often asked, how about recline? So you can see the difference in the seating positions compared to what we have here on the left and compared to what we have on the right. So there is a decent amount of recline built in, several different seating positions available for the third row passengers. And while I didn't show it earlier in the video, yes, you do have the grab handle over here on the passenger side as well. And let's take a look at the door panel as we begin our interior tour. Let's see how comfortable the armrest is. Putting my arm up there, that seems to be pretty comfortable. A little bit on the firm side if you press on it, but when you put your arm up there, it actually does seem to be fairly comfortable. I don't know how long that would last. If you left your arm up there for a long enough time, it's hard to say how comfortable that would be, but that's what we have. 2 cup holders here, and then I'm really going to stick with calling this a bottle holder down here more than a door bin, although it could be used for both. And going back to that same question here of seat recline, you can see that the middle row seats have a lot of recline built into them. And something else they have built in is the ability to slide back and forth. In fact, they can go way forward just like that. I don't think anybody is going to sit in the third row and someone is going to sit in the second row and have the seats that far forward, but that can be done. And to gain access to the third row, there's the button right there. Just push that. The seats will get up and out of the way, and we will hop in real quick. I can actually tell the difference in that 1.3 inches of height hopping into this area of the Santa Fe compared to other models I've been in that didn't have 8.3 inches of ground clearance. Now, there is a lot of leg room back here. How about headspace? Well, I have a lot of that. 5'10" is my height, so that tells you right there. And then I'll move over here to this side. Now, keep in mind, not only is this seat all the way back, I also have the seat in its upright position. It's not reclined. So not a lot of leg space, but you can see the potential for that. And here's what we have as far as our cup holders go. There is a power outlet right here. That's going to be useful in a multitude of ways. And the control for fan speed back here for the air conditioning. You have 3 zones of climate control, 2 in the front and one in the rear. And then when it comes to getting back out of this area, there is a button on the top of the seat that can be used by third row passengers if necessary. And some additional storage space here with the rear seat pockets. You're going to have one on each side. That's always going to be helpful. And we'll also have the drawer right here that allows for additional storage space. And something I like that Hyundai is doing, this is not a common thing. I don't think I've seen it in any other vehicle, but the center console can actually open from two different directions. The conventional direction in the front, and as you just saw, you can also open it from the rear. So that's actually very helpful if somebody needs something who's sitting here in the back seat. Well, they can easily gain access to that area. And as you can see, there's a lot of space in there. That's always a good thing. And you'll notice there's no air conditioning vents or any kind of connectivity back here on the rear of the center console, but that doesn't mean it's not here. Here are our USB ports, nothing unusual for Hyundai, located on the seat backs. And on the door pillars is where you're going to find the air conditioning vents. For those of you who are saying, all right, Tom, I like what I see so far. I know we have a lot more to look at, but am I going to be impressed with the price? You'll have to tell me what you think down in the comments section. $42,205. Let's see what else you get for that price. More space here with the armrest here, just as comfortable as the rear. We'll also find a true door bin here on the front doors. That's a good thing. Now here on the XRT trim level, you'll find a power driver's seat, but a manually adjustable passenger seat. So if you're curious about that, there is your answer. You will find a pass-through with another 12-volt power outlet located within. So a lot of advantages there. And we'll hop on inside and take a look at what we have here. We also have the glove box right here. Plenty of space within. Today, it's a front license plate bracket holder. No gloves, but you can see what's there. Now, we have one wireless charging pad here. This is not actually a wireless charging pad in case you were wondering, but you will find more connectivity up here, and that's going to be pretty easy to deal with. Obviously, some controls up here for one-touch features and functionality. I think you know what everything is there. And don't worry, I'm going to show you what the driving modes are. And a little bit more space here with the cup holders. And one thing I haven't talked about yet is what we have up here. Now, it is a conventional size sunroof, so for those of you who are sunroof aficionados and you want a sunroof in your vehicle, tell me what you think. Do you like this conventional size that does tilt and slide open, which is obviously controlled here, or would you like to see a panoramic sunroof? We'll take a quick look at the upper console before we move over into the driver's seat. On the driver's side door panel, no surprises. I think you know what all is here, even though we have the do not roll down sticker on the freshly tinted windows. So I won't do that, but you know all of your controls for your windows, your door locks, and your power side view mirrors right there. And you can see everything that we have here as far as turning traction control on and off. You can see everything else that's here, your power parking brake. You can control the functionality of your power tailgate back there. You can drop the lever right here to adjust your tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Make sure to put that back in place before you go driving down the road. And here is something else that I think you're going to like. A very modern look with the instrument cluster. We'll move the steering wheel out of the way here. That looks really nice. I think it has a nice modern look to it, a nice modern feel. Again, that flickering effect that you see right there, that is purely due to my camera. It's not really happening. But a very simplistic system to use no matter what your situation is. I know some people look at this and think, oh my goodness, that is bound to be really complicated. Well, it really isn't. It looks that way, but when you get into it, it's very simplistic. Over here on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you can control the functionality of your headlights, your tail lights, all that kind of stuff. And you can even be courteous to the drivers around you by flipping this lever up or down, depending on if you're turning to the right or to the left, changing lanes, merging into traffic. Yeah, believe it or not, that actually is a good idea. Over here on the right-hand side, well, I can't say anything funny about that. And if you don't like what I just said about the turn signal lever, that means you probably don't use yours. But you probably do use this lever, or depending on where your functionality is located for your windshield wipers, for your front and rear windows. You will find shifter paddles here, decent size. That's a good thing. They're not tiny. They're also not huge, but I think they're the right size for the vehicle. Easy to get your hands on. to work your way back and forth through the 8-speed automatic transmission, your steering wheel mounted controls, and then we work our way over here to the infotainment screen. Very easy to deal with. Just use the hunt and peck method. That's the way I like to put it. And when it comes to your vehicle settings or all of the different settings that are here, it's super easy to figure out what you need to find depending on where you need to go. If you want to go into your display right here, you can adjust the brightness. If it's too dark, you can adjust that. You can go to default, which is not going to be the brightest. You can see that setting of 12, or we can go all the way up to 20. So a lot going on here. Now, this model does not have the ambient lighting, but in case you were wondering about that, there's your answer to that question. And you do have the built-in navigation here, although you can wirelessly pair your smartphone if you want to. You'll have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. All that good stuff is going to be here. Pretty simple to deal with, that's for sure. And our dual zone climate control, I talked about that earlier. In fact, we need to turn that on because it is actually warming up a little bit here today. I think we're still going to be in the 60s today, which is better than it has been, but it's still nice and warm compared to where some of you live. 3 stages of heated seats for the driver and the passenger. You can turn the auto stop start feature off right there if you want to. And I talked about your driving modes. Let's take a look at what they are. There is Sport. We obviously start with normal. We're going to go to Sport. We'll also have My Drive. And then you have Snow. Pretty easy to deal with as far as that goes. No big issue there as far as being anything complicated. Now, down here in this area is your shifter. So if you're curious about that, you don't actually move this lever back and forth. But it's pretty easy to figure out. You can see what you'll be doing depending on where you move the shifter. Obviously, to go into reverse, well, you're going to toggle that backwards. And you can see what you have right there as far as your camera view goes. And we do have a couple of different camera views on this particular model. So depending on what you need to see, you can make adjustments accordingly. And then we move that forward to go into drive. And you'll go into park right here. Overall, a very easy vehicle to deal with, that's for sure, regardless of what your situation is. I know some of you are stepping into these vehicles for the first time with all this technology, and it can be a little unnerving. Don't let this one bother you. There's others out there that are definitely far more complicated to learn than this Hyundai Santa Fe. And one more thing I did want to show you is the curvature of the screen right here. That definitely helps because it's more driver focused, as you can see. Really pointed at the driver. All right, we're going to get out on the road for a quick test drive, and I'll tell you what, this is a model that you can definitely enjoy in a multitude of situations. Being that it's all-wheel drive, obviously that's not just available on the XRT trim level, but if you deal with snow, if you want to go do some light off-roading, I don't really know for sure what the full capabilities are off-road with this model, but it definitely can do some things that you might not be able to do with other competitors, depending on whether they're all-wheel drive or not. But the one thing I really like to point out is that it's great for those of you who live in climates where you get a lot of snow. That's going to be very helpful. You saw you have the snow mode that's going to make things even easier. So all of that is there. That adds to the versatility of the vehicle. And it's not only useful in that kind of a situation, but dealing with wet roads, just general driving situations. Maybe you're on a gravel road or something like that. It just depends on where you're driving, where you live, and what all you have to deal with. And a fairly easy vehicle to maneuver around. It has a good tight turning radius. The horsepower seems to be enough. I know in this day and age, a lot of people are saying 277 horsepower is just not enough. Well, there was a time when having 277 horsepower would have been awesome for a lot of people. Many years ago, we're talking maybe decades ago, but 277 horsepower is going to get the job done. For what it is, at least based on my experience, sure, it would be nice to maybe throw a heavy load of cargo in the rear cargo area, maybe have a few more people sitting here in the interior, and then see how it handles. So overall, enjoyable to drive. We've talked about how the technology here that is very easy to learn and use. I like to use the terminology of hunt and peck method. So you just hunt and peck your way through it and you can figure it out. We've all had to do it at some point, and I feel like if I can do it, all of you can do it. So don't let that scare you off. And obviously, this isn't the highest trim level. You can go with the limited or the calligraphy, which I've done a couple of limited models. Haven't done the calligraphy yet. Hopefully we'll do that soon, but you're going to find some additional things such as your ambient lighting, and actually very impressive ambient lighting. Easy to see out of. That's always a bonus. Having these tall windows makes a difference where that is concerned. I like that. And obviously you have all of your great safety features to help you out driving down the road that come from Hyundai. There's a lot here to talk about as far as great offers, Hyundai having great warranties and all that good stuff. It's all here, and at what I would consider in this day and age a fairly reasonable price. The thing that's interesting, I told you earlier in the price on this, or in the video, that the price on this model is $42,205. Tell me what you're seeing where you live. Maybe you're seeing more, maybe you're seeing less. I'm curious to know what those numbers are. By the way, I didn't mention it earlier in the video, but you also have the XRT logo here in the seat backs. Now, it's only in the front seat. Kind of interesting because I think it should be on all of the seats if it's on the front seat, but it's only there, as you can see. So tell me what you think down in the comments section. Is the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe XRT the most versatile trim level? Tell me what your thoughts are. I'm always curious to know. And don't forget, if you want to buy this particular model or anything else they have here at Mike Morgan Hyundai, check out the link down in the description of the video. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends here at the dealership for loaning me this model for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch and giving me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.